Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So today I'm gonna be playing a tournament, an online tournament in my university chess club because I'm taking a course here for 1 year. And the other day, so I guess just yesterday, I joined their offline meeting and it was quite fun. So I decided to join this tournament. It's rapid and we only have 7 players, but for a 5 round tournament, I guess it's enough. So yeah, I'm just hoping to have some fun and hopefully it's going to be instructive. Yeah, and my previous 2 videos about on me playing rapid only chess seem to be taken pretty well, so I'm going to continue this series, I guess. So we have 10 seconds left, and I'm guessing I should be paired with Milk 1SK, so I think that's how these tournaments go. Okay, now playing against Ategiani, 1698. So this is a 10-minute plus 5-second increment format, and I'm just gonna play my normal stuff here. Hopefully it's hopefully I play decent enough. Okay, 1e4, and my opponent doesn't seem to be okay. c6. I'm gonna try to play what I recommend. Okay, this is exactly the line that I talked about in my video that I'll probably link up here. And yeah, knight c6 is not a good move. I think there's a refutation, which is f4. e6, bishop e3, d4, bishop f2, and the point is that the pawn becomes quite weak. Yeah, and this move I'm not particularly scared about because besides bishop e3 here, but bishop e3 may run into d4. So here I think the right move is like bishop e5, e6, bishop e3, and that position looks quite good. I could also play c3, just an alternative, which looks quite solid. Now I'm just trying to remember if I recommend a bishop b5 or I recommend a c3 here. Both seem to be quite good. Possibly they transpose, but let's see, bishop b5, d4. Is that a problem? I don't think so, but I'll just play c3 because I don't see anything wrong with it. Once I play b4, if black ever plays a5, then I'll just put my bishop on b5, which is its common theme in these kind of positions where we take the pawn. And I think black will just end up down a pawn in this position. So there is no compensation here. Instead of bishop f5, I think the main move was e6. If black decides to play knight c6 on the 4th move, then yeah. But this one is not too threatening. I can play first off bishop e3. Queen a5, b4. Okay, let's see. Bishop e3, bishop e1 takes. Queen a5 may actually win back the pawn. So I'm just gonna play b4 right now. I'm pretty sure there's a flaw in my analysis there, but right now I don't see a problem with playing b4. Similar to like what Slav players or semi-Slav players also face. This pawn can be supported with b4. So my position is already, I think, close to winning here. I mean, it should be winning, but I just need to have good technique. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, a5 here I expected, but then bishop b5, and this is the point. The pawn, I mean, if it's taken, then I just take back, and black will not be able to win back the pawn so easily. Okay, so knight g7, but now the problem is that it blocks the bishop. So maybe black's idea is to play some sort of like b6 here. And so I'm considering already playing a move like bishop e2. Because if I play a move like knight f3, I'm already kind of afraid of like b6 moves. I could also play bishop e3 here, which prevents b6 always. But I always have to think about like the knight coming into f5. Though maybe my bishop may prefer like being on e3. I'm not too sure. But let's see. If I play bishop e3, I think I need to develop the bishop right now. Otherwise b6 is gonna come. So either bishop e3 or bishop e2 I'm considering. Bishop e2 does look more natural, I have to say. And it does help control the e5 square, which I know is like quite a good asset that that white has. Okay, let's see. If I play bishop e2, knight g6, what happens there? I can maybe play just queen d2 and just support the structure. But maybe there's takes, and the bishop e1, takes, and rook a2. So bishop e2, knight g6. I can also just play g3, even though it looks kind of weakening. See, bishop e3, knight g6, knight f3. Looks pretty good. So I'm really at a crossroads here. I really want to play bishop e2, but after knight g6, my f4 pawn is kind of under defended. So I guess I'll play bishop e3. In blitz, I would have probably played bishop e2 immediately. But considering now that there's maybe knight g6 here, I just want to play like knight f3 and just calmly develop there. I don't want any funky business, considering that I'm up a pawn right now. And now there's also no b6 business here, because I can just take. So, yeah, I think that bishop e3 is better than bishop e2. But we'll see, probably in the post-game analysis. Oops, I probably need to charge my computer. Okay. Now, yeah, there's a problem with the development scheme that black has chosen. Yeah, like f6 isn't a move that black wants to make. Oops, sorry. Excuse me. If I take now, that might give black the open file, so I'm just gonna play knight f3 and develop. This seems pretty logical. I'm expecting knight g6 next, but I could probably just castle there because takes, and the knight cannot take because it's being pinned. So fe, knight e. Okay, let's say knight g6. Oh wow, okay. That move didn't work because the problem is that if I take with the rook, then takes, and then the pawn will fall. However, I can take with the queen now, and that's the entire idea that I saw before. Now knight f5 might be coming, but I can just drop back with bishop f2, and the bishop is quite secure there. It controls the d4 square. So now I think I'm just, yeah, winning here quite cleanly. Okay, so there. Now I just castle. Now I'm considering after maybe castle, either taking now. Yeah, which kind of relieves some of the support that black has on the like e5 square. Because if I play a move like a3, which I kind of want to do, then takes, and queen c7 perhaps. And I might lose my chance to take on c6. Which is why I'm considering heavily to play just bishop c6. I can also play g4, but knight h6, and that would weaken my position too much. Knight d4 doesn't look right. He can probably just win a pawn. It takes. So I'll just take on c6 now. It's pretty simple. And next, I'm considering to play a4 right now. But I can also play like a3. I think a3 is just a safer move. And then next I can play like queen d3, bring one of the rooks in, and then try to go for c4 maybe. And the point is that a3 now just supports the b4 pawn. So yeah, I can just continue freely now that this side of the board is closed. And if I trade off the c pawn for the d pawn, then I will be just, my pawn structure will be restored, and I'm just a lot better. So next move, I just want to play queen d3 and then rook d1, maybe h3 to give some luft. Okay, there, but I just take here, and now I have pressure on c6. Like bishop f6 takes, queen c7, let's say. I guess there's knight d4. Queen f4, knight e6. That wins. So bishop f6, knight c6, queen c7, knight d4. But then they have like maybe knight d4, bishop takes, takes, and then they can take on f4 with the rook. That is quite interesting. Okay, now I'm considering still to play queen d3. I don't see why not. Yeah, perhaps bishop f6 a move ago was a better choice, but this doesn't seem too threatening. Queen d3 just connects the rooks, and next I just want to bring one of the rooks in. Like, for example, rook fe1 right now. Yeah, and this also puts some pressure on e6. So I think I'm playing quite well right now. I can also just play g3 to support the f4 pawn. But is g5 coming? I'm not sure. g5? Not a... g5, not g4. Maybe there's a queen take, actually. I wonder what happens after g4. I mean g5 here. Okay. Yeah, but now I can play g3 safely. Yeah, the thing is that if I play knight g4 now, the pawn on f4 hangs. So if I play g3, now everything is secure, and I can consider moves like knight g4 to unleash an attack on the bishop and also the pawn on e6. If I trade everything down, I should be winning here in this endgame. Actually, not if I trade everything down. It might still be difficult, but okay, now I can take with the a pawn or take with the c pawn. Taking with the c pawn allows me to have like possible connected passed pawns. Okay, let's see here, rook b8, and then I can play rook b1, or maybe like rook a2 and then try to push a4, b5. Yeah, if I take with the a pawn, I think that taking with the c pawn is better. Because if I take with the a pawn, let's say rook b8. But still, if I take with the c pawn, it's gonna be like a Benko Gambit kind of like position where black doesn't have any queenside pawns or has, but puts pressure on them quite immensely. But then still, like rook b1, rook b3, I don't believe in the position there for black. And if I take right, okay. I mean, there's a tactical reason also. If I take with the a pawn, then there's gonna be trade, and then just taking on e5. So I mean, just taking with the c pawn is forced. Yeah, I just completely missed that for a second there. So there was no reason to waste that much time. Okay, now I'm considering like, I'm pretty sure rook d to b8 is gonna be, no it isn't. Okay, interesting. But now I get an a4 b5 quite quickly, right? I can also play just rook a2, but a4 b5 just seems like the plan to go for. I can also just play bishop d4, which centralizes the bishop, but knight f5 may come. So just a4, and I don't see what, is knight g6 the plan? Okay, so I can play rook a2 as well here. Rook a2. I think I want to just play this move in case of knight g6. I mean, if I want to support all my queenside pawns, I can just play like queen b3 and then push the pawn a4, b5. And yeah, this should be technically winning, just need to find the correct technique. Wonder what's the standing. Okay, so... Alright. Yeah, now this is quite a difficult position. If I stick my bishop on d4, then I always need to be worried about knight f5 business, Ooh, okay, interesting. Now, I consider that move, but, like, what happens if I just... If I take, then there may be, like, takes, and then queen d7, is that the idea? But also I can just play queen c4 right now, and pressure e6. And then if the pawn is pushed, then I just take. If the bishop is taken, if the knight is taken, then I can take on e6 first, with check. And this pawn is just gonna drop off, I think. Knight f5 I can just take. So the problem with the e6 pawn is very massive. Like knight d5, just bishop d4, and this is lost, I think. Bishop d4, and then maybe I can play bishop c3, like doubling with the rooks, bishop c3, then I just push the pawns forward. Now bishop c3, and still the rook can't move because the e6 pawn would hang, and this is very, very difficult, I think. e4 is next, I think. Can also just play king g2. Is rook d1 a threat? I can take on e6 first, I guess. I'll just push a4. I don't think there are any threats in the position, so... If I play king g2, then it might be subject to like some knight e3 business. And now that move doesn't work because I just take here and take on e6. I can take on c6 next as well. Or king f8, knight c6. Knight c6, rook d1, knight d8, yeah. I think that's winning. Knight c6, yeah. This should be over soon. Now, the thing is that I don't want to take on d4, because it might activate the bishop and like some queen check business, but I guess I always have c6. So, this is cleanly winning. I can also like try to double up and be fancy with some ideas here, but I don't think it works because f7 is always free. I think maybe the best try is like rook d7. Oh no, rook d7 I just made. So this is a problem, yeah. Maybe like rook c8 with a kind of a deep idea. The idea is if I take and the king h1, let's say, then there may be like queen b7, and if I push, then the rook can like capture on c6. Which is kind of a deep idea, but like I think it just fails. Like rook c8, knight d4 here. King g2 is probably just safest. I mean, I can also just block the diagonal with like queen e4, since my position is supported. Now I can take here, because if they take this guy... Ah, wait, is the idea? Because if I take here, and then they take here, then it's going to be mate in 1. However, if I take here, and then they do bishop d4 check, then what happens there? Now that is a serious question. But just simplest is just taking here, and if they take back, then it's going to be mate. So, always need to consider the moves. Yeah, and that's a full rook. Takes and mate. Takes and then mate. Yeah, so everything just falls apart here. Yeah, okay, nice game. Good game. Okay, 1 mistake and 2 blunders. I really wonder where that is. I didn't feel like there were any missed wins or anything. Let's see. What the computer overlords say. 84.7. Okay, not as high as I thought. I mean, yeah, I thought it should have been higher. Let's see. C3 is fine. B4 is a mistake. A5 is inaccurate. So what's the move here? D4. Ah, yeah. I considered that move, but it wasn't... I mean... No way. D4, bishop E5? And what's the deal here? DC3. Bishop E6, BC6. I thought this was just a lot better. But I guess they have A5, yeah, in the end of the sequence. Yeah, that's kind of true. That's E3 in the A5 here. Yeah, I missed this. So D4 is something I need to be concerned about. Instead of... Wait, is C3 right? That's the question. Yeah, okay, C3 is right probably. E6 and the bishop E3 here. And then here I was considering bishop b1. Ah, of course, queen b1. Yeah, I mean, I forgot. Rook b1, queen a5 I thought was kind of unclear. b4 takes. Queen c1. Ah, and the queen is kind of trapped, yeah. Like queen a5 is just horrible. d4 is only move, cd4, and queen d5 probably. Or a5. Yeah, this is a lot better for white for sure. Queen d5 and then take, or bishop e5. Knight f3 is also good. Okay, I guess, yeah, that was, bishop e3 was definitely cleaner. Now I guess that's an addition to the to my repertoire. Like d4 here is very strong. Yeah, okay. Oh, okay, we're on to the next game. I think this is the highest rated player. No, second highest. I mean my opponent's, it's like the second highest rated opponent. V12 Viking is still highest. But we got a Smith-Morra here. And I do know what to play against this. Bishop d3. Now that is not a good move. G6, bishop g7, I don't see anything wrong with it, to be honest. Yeah, especially with the bishop on d3, I don't think it's very threatening. Normally the bishop goes to c4, and maybe I should have taken more time to consider it, but I don't see anything wrong with this setup. Knight f6. Maybe I can play a6 as well, just to... Ah, okay, now we get an interesting position. I can't play bishop g4 on account of bishop f7 and then knight g5. So I'm considering just knight f6 here. And if e5 I can take with the pawn, and then... Yeah, and there's nothing. Like I take with the... Wait, actually maybe it may be something with knight b5. Yikes. I need to analyze that further later. I can play bishop g4 now as well. Yeah, if I don't play bishop g4 now, I guess I can play b6 and bishop e7, which would look pretty good, I have to say. The problem with playing a6 in most of these positions is that it weakens the b6 square. So bishop g4, the trade-off, like h3 takes, castle, rook fe1. Or I can just castle now. And then let's say h3, b6, and the bishop e7. Yeah, I mean, I think that looks quite safe. I'm probably not playing the best here, like a move ago. Maybe some e5 business would be dangerous. So I'm not happy with my play, but it seems to be up a pawn, like in normal Morra fashion. Okay, and then now I can play bishop g4. Or I can play b6 and bishop e7, I guess, but I really want to decrease white's pressure on like pushing this e5 move. So I'm just going to play like bishop g4, and if h3 I'm going to trade. And right now I can play a move like queen a5, I think. Queen a5, knight d5, rook fe8 is pretty good, I think. Bishop d2, queen h5. That's a problem for white. I can play rook fe8 and rook ac8, or like a6 first. e5 I can take first and then just take back. So if I play this right, I should just be up a pawn. But of course, white has compensation. Now, I thought I could play queen h5 right now, but I guess I can play just a useful move like rook fe8. And then if b4, then I can play queen h5. And then there will be some like serious problems there. But rook fe8, h3, takes. I can also just play queen h5 now, which looks pretty strong, to be honest. But then there may be knight d5, yeah? Is that a problem? Rook fe8, knight d5. I mean, queen h5 here, knight d5, I can take on f3 first. Queen f3, I trade everything off. And then at the very least, I can just take there. And if takes, I plant the knight on like a5. Then I'm attacking b2. Yeah, I mean, knight d5 I don't think is a good move. And this is quite annoying. It forces the doubling of pawns, which white doesn't want. Are there only 3 rounds actually? Okay, I guess that's kind of adjusted because, yeah, not many people are playing. And that move I saw, but we can just take here. Like bishop f6, knight f6, bishop f6 is okay, obviously. And my e7 pawn is defended by the knight on c6, so everything is fine, I think. Yeah, and that's probably the best try to do something, but I can take here and then play knight e5, I guess. I can take here and then rook d5, knight e5. And if they take, and they can't push f4 because the queen is possibly loose. And I'm attacking f3 right now. F3, yeah, it is being attacked. Like, I'm already considering a move like rook a c8. It looks quite logical. Maybe bishop g3. I can take on f3 first, I think. King g2 is the only move, right? I think. Then I can play rook a c8. Bishop a2. I can play rook f8 as well. But I kind of want support on the f7 pawn, so I mean, just in case. I don't think it's very important, but let me just do this. And I'm already threatening like queen f3 business, maybe. Queen f3 takes, and then take there. And I was probably in trouble a move ago, like, I mean, a couple moves ago. Okay, interesting. Now I can play like queen h here, and then here, f4, knight c6. Kind of being pushed around, but I guess it's okay. I can also play g5 here, there, and then knight g6, perhaps. But it looks kind of risky. Let me just play a6 maybe to prevent like queen b5 business. Queen b5 is not really a threat, but because the f3 pawn is hanging, but just in case. Also, like, any rook b5 things are not in the picture anymore. I don't see a purpose of like bringing the rook to this, like, to d8 or like e8. So yeah, a6 is just kind of useful, I think. Okay, so there, and there's no real threat actually, because f4 I just take. I can play b5, but it doesn't look right. Now maybe I can play like bishop h6. No, it doesn't work. Yeah, it looks very loose. I just want to kind of support this guy. So maybe queen h6 now. Or I can play just rook c7 maybe and try to double up. Which looks quite good actually. Let's see, what's the next move? Here, queen d2. Ah, queen d2. Now queen d2 I can just take, so there's always this problem of the f3 pawn being loose. Queen e3 maybe. Let's see, rook c7. Queen e3. I can play g5, I guess. Then I have f4. Ooh, that looks very interesting. But is it good? I can also play g5 now. g5, I bring the knight to g6, I put pressure on b2. What's the problem? Yeah. I think g5 is a good move. I don't see what's wrong with it. I could be completely wrong in evaluating this position, but... Ah, wait, queen e3, I need to play like maybe h6. Then f4, knight g4. Yeah, then that's quite good. Queen e3 puts pressure on here. Maybe I play bishop f6 also. That's possible. Then f4 I can take. That's actually quite good. I mean, queen e3. I don't even need to play like h6. I can just try to double up, continue doubling up. Okay, now there's actually a threat. So I'm probably gonna play bishop f6 now to prevent any h4 business. Bishop f6 prevents h4, which is, I mean, it's a pretty good try. Push like to play rook h1 there. Otherwise, I didn't see a plan for white that was quite good. Maybe rook c6, double up, and try to infiltrate. Yeah, rook c6, bishop a4. I guess that's not really a useful tempo to gain. I just go back. Okay, let's see. Okay, queen e3. I kind of thought that that was a move, but like, what does it do? Is f4 threat? I can play knight g4. Can play knight g6 right now, but h4, yeah. Knight g6, h4, that's a problem. Okay, so rook c6, f4, takes, and then what? Like, I don't see. I can also play king h8 in case white decides to open up the file. Yeah, the G file. I can play king h8 here, I think it's fine. Ooh, okay, we got a 2 out of 2 there. Four takes. Maybe rook g8. Okay, I don't think that's a good move. I mean, h3 just doesn't look like you need to play it. You can continue with like rook c6 here. I think I will. I don't see a reason not to. Queen a7 is not. There's always this problem with the f3 pawn being so weak, so I'm never concerned about like the queen moving away. Okay, let's see. What does my opponent want? I'd be very surprised if white went f4. Yeah, okay. Also, I'm the last. This is the last game I'm playing. I mean, this is the last game of this round. So after this, there will be one more, but yeah. f4. Yeah, as I said before, I'm very surprised. Obviously, take. Queen f4 was only a move. I mean, takes rook g8 is a check you don't want to allow. I didn't think that was a good move. Rook g8 takes. It doesn't work. Queen f4. I mean, bishop f4. Rook g8 is just asking for it. Now rook g8. What about this? Queen f5, I take. And then I can move my knight freely. Maybe knight c4. What is White's next move? I don't even know. Okay. Alright. But what's the threat? I can also like try to consider like playing rook g7 and then doubling up on the g file here. Or like rook h6, or rook g6 and then trying to double up here also makes sense. Let's do that, yeah? Rook g6 and then preparing to double up here. Rook takes, I can just take with the pawn and it gets a tempo. My f7 pawn is kind of weak, but I mean, it's not really a concern. If they want to do something about it, they gotta get rid of their rook. And then I just take back with the other pawn. Yeah, this should be winning now. I have a lot of threats in the position. I like queen e3, preparing f4 looks reasonable, but I can just try to double up. Rook c8, f4, I can double up. And if they take, they're gonna probably lose material there. And then the whole house after bishop e5. And then the king's just getting mated there, pretty sure. So this is a difficult position. Queen f5 is maybe the best move, actually. Then I think I want to avoid the trade of pieces with queen h6. Okay, I didn't see that move, but I don't think I should be concerned, right? Here, here, here. And if f4 I can take. Okay, so queen g5 takes. If f4 I take, if let's say king h2, can maybe get away with bishop f6, f4, and then knight c4. That looks pretty good. Let me just do that. And takes. If they take here, then obviously there's, at the very least, I can just take back and then like try to give a discover check, something like that. But is it rook d8 business? I'm not sure. Maybe I should have brought my rook back first to c8 instead of playing rook g6. Yeah, which kind of blocks my queen's entry to g6 itself. So rook c8. I didn't think that there was a difference, but I think there is quite a big difference. Probably the best line here is just take, and then like bishop e5 maybe, a d5, rook d8, and then like king g7, bishop e5, bishop f6, bishop g3. Oh no. I think that restores material equality actually. I think I just blundered. Takes, check. Takes, okay. So I just take, right? Yeah, I mean, now that the bishop is on f4, there's no f4. There's no immediate f4 at least. So now I can probably just like slowly build up. There's maybe a threat of bishop h5 right now. So I'm considering playing a move like knight c4. Attacks b2. And if if b3, then I can just take the pawn. So this seems to be pretty good. Bishop h5. I can even consider like giving up the exchange right now. It's probably good actually. Probably just good for me. With two passed pawns. Okay, that was not considered because of knight b2, and that just blocks the bishop like with this kind of business, so that's definitely not a good move. Is the idea like e5, but I can take, and that's kind of interesting actually. But bishop b2 just wins a pawn, right? Rook c2, bishop e5 maybe. Bishop e2, bishop c2, bishop e5. Okay, let me just take this guy. Okay, let's see. What is the deal here? That was quite tricky at the very end. Maybe some bishop h5 or... Yeah, I think I definitely blundered there if they traded the queens off. But they didn't, so I'm quite lucky in that regard. I can take on a3, but if I'm up one pawn, do I really want to take a second pawn? And then like kind of misplace my bishop on this diagonal. I can just play it safe here and just play bishop f6. Also stopping any h4 ideas. Rook c2, I possibly just take. Is that an idea? Or I play knight a... No, knight a5 doesn't work. Knight e5 takes, doesn't work. Rook c2, what's the move then? b5 maybe. Yeah, I think b5. But there's maybe a4. Still quite tricky. Rook c2, I possibly just take, and then take rook here. Knight b5, take. That's quite... Oh my god, that's... Rook c2 is interesting. Okay, they didn't do it. Bless. But my f7 pawn is kind of weak here, so I need to maybe like play king g7 or something. Which is not ideal, but... Or king g8 also. What's the difference? King g7, bishop h2, preparing f4. No, there's nothing there. Come on. Just ghosts. Okay, knight b2. Wait, knight a5 also makes sense. Knight e5 also just makes sense. Just centralize my knight. If they trade, then I'm gonna get a massive bishop there. Otherwise, maybe knight f3 business. Yeah, this is not a clean conversion at all, but should be good enough. Knight f3. Here, and then try to go knight d4, because I'm threatening rook g1 mate right now. I can also just play like knight d4 next. Am I gonna win on time or not? That's the question. Okay, I did win on time. Yeah, but that should be winning at the very end. I mean, okay, the next game is gonna start like immediately, pretty much. So yeah, I got the last round pairing. I need to win this game if I wanna win the tournament. E4, okay. 5. Let me just play my normal stuff here and not do any funny business. Yeah, now I can just play the Gambit line with d4, but I'm just gonna keep it calm with d3 here. I don't know who my opponent is, because if I knew my opponent, then it may be... I mean, if my opponent is like someone I played yesterday, then they may know my blitz weapon, which is d4. h6, so now that move is quite interesting. Now I think I can just castle here. Knight f6 and h6. Normally they play like bishop e7, d6, bishop e7 castles d6 and then h6, which is the idea of knight h7 and knight g5. But this one, if I castle, I'm pretty sure that's just the right move. I can also consider a4 here, but I may not want to play a4. Let me just castle. I'm ready to be hit with g5 here if black wants. I'm wondering if I can play d4 in that position. Okay, no, we transpose to the bishop c5, yeah. So bishop c5, castles, and then now I'll just play c3. Yeah. And against the bishop c5 variations in the Italian, you'd normally play c3 and try to go for d4 because the bishop is quite vulnerable on c5 to getting hit with like d4. Meanwhile, if the bishop is on e7, then normally c3 d4 doesn't make it doesn't have that much effect. So yeah, here I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to allow d4 this early. I can also just play a4 right now, but a4, but bishop g4, is that an idea? So d4 takes, or d4 takes, I think is pretty good because I get knight c3, but d4, bishop e6, d5, knight e7, knight d2 is pretty good advantage, to be honest. d4, so this is something that probably black shouldn't allow, and probably something I should know more in depth. So that I'm not like thinking every move. Okay, so taking I'm pretty sure is not good. Let's see here, and then I can play maybe d5, knight e5, takes, knight c3. I can just play knight c3 immediately, but then knight c3 and a bishop g4. So maybe h3 first, but then there may be g5. So sure, d5 is the right move there. And then next I can play knight c3. Now this is not good. I don't think this is a good situation. This trade looks very loose to me. Play knight c3 defending this pawn. c6, queen e2, takes, possibly take with the pawn. Okay, now that black has castled and and there's no possibility of like g5 here, I'm considering already h3. Because bishop e2, bishop g4 may be kind of annoying. Maybe queen e1, or like king h1 first. King h1 at g4 is a problem, and then like queen h4 coming. So h3 first looks quite reasonable. c6 I'm expecting, and then maybe like queen f3 with a pretty good advantage there. Maybe I can also play queen e2 instead of queen f3, but queen f3 looks quite nice also. Supporting bishop e3 business. Maybe I can take with the queen, yeah. So this is turning out to be quite a strategic game, but I should be better, like quite a bit better here. c6, maybe I can, should I take? I don't think I should take, to be honest, to trade off the pieces, because I want to maintain my center. c6 looks very natural here. I mean, the bishop can't go out anywhere, so you play c6, try to chip on white center, and you know, just play from there. Knight h7, okay, interesting. Oh yeah, this is a typical idea to play knight g5, so now queen f3 doesn't make much sense. But maybe I can just play queen e2 or king h2 first. King h2 makes a lot of sense. Just unpinning the pawn and just getting out of the g file there. Is f5 coming? No, f5, there may be some d6 ideas, but not right now, yeah. f5 takes, knight e4. f5 is quite an interesting idea. Should I play knight a4 to try to win the bishop? I wonder. can do that. Knight a4, but then there's bishop d4, and it's not like I'm winning the bishop or anything. Bishop e3 is not really a move I want to play, but maybe I do want to play it because takes, and I might have control over f5, but still f5 is going to come. And then my e3 pawn becomes kind of weak. So here I need to make a big decision. I'm considering like king h2 here. Maybe some business with like queen h here is going to come, but just queen f3 and g3 is fine. And if knight g5, then the queen can't come in, so I'm not too concerned about any sacrifices here. But maybe it should be like knight g5, and then like some bishop takes, and then queen d7. But I have queen g4, so I'm okay with that. Queen f3 to g3 is also an idea, actually. Queen f6. Yeah, this is not that easy for me, actually. I thought I was a lot better, but now I'm not that clear. Now I'm not that sure. Bishop e3? Maybe g3 just loses. What am I doing? So here, queen f3, knight g5, queen g3. Yeah, I don't love the position, to be honest. Especially because f5 is possibly coming, but... Knight g5, queen g3. It's forced. Knight f6 also is interesting, actually, now. Lagi ada acara, bentar. Okay, so yeah, that knight g5, I mean, I have to play queen g3 right now. It's not what I wanted, but yeah, sometimes you have to make concessions. And now I don't like my position. Wait, maybe I am threatening to take this guy. Am I threatening to take this guy? I can play g4 now, actually. No, he's threatening right now bishop c3. So, and then taking just on the pawn on e4. So I'm gonna have to takes, and maybe I play g4 to prevent any f5 business. And black has the bishop pair, but now that f5 is prevented, I'm kind of calm. Now I'm gonna play a4 to prevent any b5. And I think this strategy in this game was not... Yeah, I want to push a5 and just like fix the structure. Maybe like I can play rook a2 or rook b1 and bring the knight to e2. Somewhere around there. Rook a2 or rook b1 is the question. Okay, just play rook a2. I think I kind of want to support this pawn still. The rook on b1 doesn't exactly support b4, so that's the reason I'm bringing it to a2. Now I play... Knight e2. Then like I'm expecting bishop c5. Can I play d6 now is the question. I don't think so. Not yet, at least. Probably just like knight g3. The knight looks quite decent here, controlling f5. Maybe I want to free my rook to go to c1 and then try to pressure the position. But maybe there's bishop e3 to f4. That's something I need to be really concerned about, actually. Yeah, I mean, if they get in like bishop e3 to f4, then I'm basically pinned everywhere. That's not good. So maybe rook f3 first. Rook f3, and then maybe b3. But then there's always going to be bishop b4. Oh wow, that's quite interesting. But now that's going to be a weakness, right? b7 is going to be a permanent weakness. Could play a move like rook b3 right now. And what is white going to do? Takes and bishop c6. Looks kind of bad. Especially after takes. Takes and then rook c3 just winning a pawn, I think. So I'm going to have to try to pressure white, try to pressure black on the clock as well. Which is not the way I kind of want to win, but sometimes you need to do these kind of things. Now I just need to bring my rook to a1, c1, possibly pressure the c file. And if I do that, I should be doing quite well. Black has the bishop here, but I do have a lot of activity. C takes. I'm agreeing with this one. Maybe bishop b5 actually works, because if I take on b7, there's going to be bishop c4. Yeah, this one takes and rook c3. That I just talked about doesn't work. So it's quite lucky for me. But this is quite interesting actually, because what if bishop f2 and then I take the pawn and then rook d1. Ooh, that may be dangerous actually. Yeah, because I can't play h4, I can't move my pawn. So maybe bishop f2, I'm gonna have to do something else. Like maybe knight h1 first. Yeah, knight h1 first actually just gains a tempo. Oh, knight looks kind of weird there, but it does its job. Maybe knight f1 also is interesting, but it allows the rook to come in with tempo, yeah. So bishop f2, knight h1, and then I'm thinking about like knight h1, bishop h4, g3, and that should win, yeah. Bishop h4, g3, check, move over, check, king up, sorry, I mean rook d2, king g2, king g2, rook d2, and then I'm gonna have... Okay, so this should be winning. This should be winning. What happens if I take here? What happens if I take here? I think I just simplify the position, yeah? Because right now there may be like some ideas of like bishop h4. And like if I play like takes, king g3, rook f4, I take here and I take here. And that's just winning, right? The thing is that I don't want to... If I give black one more tempo, then they may play like rook d8. Meanwhile, if they play like rook e2, now I just take, and then I promote the pawn. Yeah, this is winning, so that's should be a good finish for me. Are there any games going on? No, it's the last game. Okay. Yeah, this is the last game of the round. I need to analyze the Italian game more. I feel like that's like one of the big holes in my repertoire. That and what to play against the Moran. I mean, how to play with the Moran. Ooh, okay, so I thought that didn't work. Rook a3. Okay, I can play also b3 here maybe. b4 it's kind of loose, so b3. But then there's gonna be rook d3. So rook a3 takes. Rook a3, rook d2. The only thing I'm afraid of is like doubling up here. b4 takes. Okay, I think b4 is the move here. I'm okay with giving up these two pawns, and the material is going to be equal after I take on a6. However, the passed a pawn, as well as the fact that my rook covers the g2 square, means that there will be no such like doubling on the rooks on the second rank. Pretty sure b4 is the right move. If I play b3, then there's going to be rook d3. But if I play b4, rook d3 does nothing. So b4, let's just calculate a bit. b4, rook e4, rook a6 takes, like maybe rook b6. What happens if I trade everything off? Takes, rook b8, rook b2, king here, 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 here. Huh, that's not so clear, yeah. Like b4 takes, rook b6 takes, rook b8, rook b2, king, even like king g6, king here, here, here. And then I'm not in time to win, I think. But what if I put the rook on a6 instead? Takes, I mean like b4 takes, there, takes there, rook b8. There may be also like rook d6, yeah. No, rook d6, rook b2, I think. Probably d8, b7. Yeah, that probably wins for me. Not even if I push the pawn to b7, but... Takes. I mean like b4 takes, there, rook b8, rook a6, king g6, here, check, king here. I'm getting excited, but that may work if the rook goes on e6, yeah. Let me just calculate this one last time. b4 takes, rook b6 takes, rook b8, rook a6, king g6, king f3, king f7, king e4, king e6. I have like b7 check. The king is forced to d7. Okay, if the king is forced to d7, then I think that wins. King d7, rook b7, g6, king d5. Yeah, everything's weak. I'll need to calculate in my head though. Yeah, that's probably winning actually. Okay, let me just... Is b3 better though? I don't know. b3, rook d3. Takes. There's probably no difference actually. No, actually there is a difference between b3 and b4. Yeah, I think b3 is better. My reasoning is that it requires 1, 2, and 3 moves to take with the rook. However, if I play b4, there's going to be only 1, 2 moves. So I think that b3 just is an additional tempo that I gain. And now king h2 has to be right, I think, after rook d3, king h2. Takes. As long as I keep my rook on the a2 square, where it covers the g2 pawn, I think I should be okay. And I should be winning. If there is some ridiculous reason as to why b4 wins and b3 draws, then I'm probably gonna freak out. Wait, is rook b6 immediately winning though? No, doesn't do anything. Rook e3 takes there. Yeah, it's nothing. Yeah, like here, if I play rook b6, takes. Rook b2, rook c, rook here. No, actually no. I can take here. No, that loses. That loses easily. Wait, right? No, rook b6 takes. There. Queen. No, this loses easily. Okay. Now I just push my pawn up the board. Yeah. There was a line that I was calculating before. And I think b3 was the correct decision, but a7, rook b8, I mean, this just loses. Okay, nice. That was a fair bit of calculation needed. Gonna go analyze the second and third game after this, I think. Wonder what's happening. That doesn't do anything. I can just like push the pawn and wait, there may be like the idea is like to take and then push and then just mate me, right? So there is an idea and you can't be too sure. It takes, but that doesn't change anything though. I can take with the g pawn, but then there's gonna be g4 maybe. I take with the e pawn, and the e pawn is way too slow there. So now we just push the pawn forward. That was quite a nice trick. If I wasn't paying attention, the g3 comes, then that would be not funny for me, but I probably wouldn't even have considered f5 if I was on the black side of this. Rook h1, rook c1 doesn't do anything. That's the thing. Yeah, I just play a7, rook c1, rook b3. The funny thing is that I can even promote. After rook c1, I can just promote, and the queen can just run back to f2. But I think rook b3 is better. So I do this one. Is here, that's probably winning. That's a nice move actually. Ooh, that's a nice finish. Rook h6, look at that move. King h6, queen h8 is mate, gh6, rook a7 is forcing rook c7, so GG's. Zero mistakes, zero blunders. That was a game where I expected a lot more. Meanwhile, the other games, I was not too sure. Okay, I was a lot, I mean, this is Smith-Morra, right, in the second game. So this one, yeah, I'm pretty sure I messed it up somewhere. Like, this graph isn't too pretty. Is g6 the right move here? I normally play this Taylor system, which d6, bishop c4, a6, which I think is the best and easiest to play, to be honest. Bishop d3, yeah, and here I just play g6. Pretty sure g6 is not the right move, but I just didn't see anything wrong with the move g6. Knight f6 is better, but okay, g6 is second best according to online stockfish, so I guess it's fine. Bishop g7, bishop c4, knight f6 here. Maybe knight f6 is wrong. e5 here, what happens? Knight h5. Yeah, because I would have thought twice here, because takes, there may be like takes. Knight d8 and knight b5, which I was kind of worried about. I guess castle and this is okay. Yeah, this is just up a pawn actually, so I guess not much going on there. Then here I played bishop g4, which I think is right. If I want to develop the bishop to like with playing b6 and bishop b7, I think it is like quite too slow. And it always allows some possible e5 pushes where the e7 pawn is going to be targeted. So I didn't want to allow any of that. I just want to reinforce my control over the e5 square. So I just play bishop g4, ready to trade off my bishop for the knight if h3 comes. So here, then knight h5 was okay. Yeah, here's the thing. Like knight h5 is a move that you don't really consider unless you know, like when to play it. Knight h5, bishop e3, knight e5. Okay, so that's yeah. I guess I kind of missed that. Knight h5, and then if the bishop moves to g3, then it's good. But queen g3 just takes. Take first. There's knight d4 as well. Wow. Okay, I guess that's an improvement there. I could consider knight h5 at some point, and then follow it up with knight e5. I thought that I need to develop my queen there, but yeah, I don't think it's really necessary. a3 is not a good move. h3 was better. Yeah, for sure. h5, and then is queen h5 the best? No, it's not the best, but yeah, and this one is just quite easy. 94, yeah, and after 95, I don't think there's a chance for white here. Except maybe in this moment. Yeah, rook g6 is inaccurate, I think. I didn't even see bishop c1, which is the problem. And here after queen g5, there's a line here that just equalizes, I think. Bishop e5, which looks strange. But the point is that it comes with check. And once I take, yeah, bishop h5 seems to be the only move, but I consider a move like king f1 here. I thought was quite decent. Yeah, I would have maybe played bishop f4, maybe even. Rook d7, and yeah, now this is unclear. Like, so I didn't need to allow this. I missed bishop c1 completely, but after that, I think my opponent missed their chance and just allowed me to do this. Bishop e2 here. 6. Yeah, here rook c2 also. This was another chance I missed. I mean, my opponent missed. Rook c2. The problem is if I take on here, then there's gonna be trade and rook a5 with a double attack. My pawn on f7 is also weak. This is not clear at all. Knight b5, rook a6, like king g7, rook c6, knight d4, I guess. Yeah, but then this is just like, it's up one pawn, but it's not gonna be that easy to win. Okay, on to the next game. Yeah, I figured that I should be, like, I mean, the position is quite equal here. d4, yeah. Then here bishop b6 for sure. Yeah, okay. So I shouldn't have played d4, apparently. Let's play something like rook e1, yeah. I consider also a4, but my repertoire doesn't really fall in line with this after a5, which I don't really understand too well, which is why I didn't play a4. Normally against a6, I play a4, but against a5, I want to kind of keep the a4 square open with my bishop, because there are some lines where I play like c3, and then bishop b5, knight a7, and then like bishop comes back, something like that. So I played like c3 here, d6, and then d4. But here bishop b6 for sure was best, and I thought after d5 I should be doing quite well. Knight e7 and like knight bd2 or 2, but yeah, the computer is quite optimistic for black because of c6. Yeah, this is probably following my understanding of the Italian. Something is wrong there. So not playing d4 immediately and just playing like rook b1 or knight bd2 looks just normal here. So that was, from an opening standpoint, better, but this one I played d5. Knight d5, I thought this was like quite dubious, but apparently it's fine. Like here, knight h7 was quite strong, I thought. Computer recommends queen e2, queen d3, or queen h5, all queen moves. And I played king h2, which wasn't good. And here I thought knight f6 was best. Yeah, my suspicion was right. After knight g5, I thought queen g3, black for sure has equalized here. But if they move their knight to h7, for example, I thought this was fine, but... Yeah, I mean, even after the situation here, which happened after this, black still has the bishop pair and it's not comfortable for me. So I managed to outplay my opponent at the very end there, I think. e5, rook e8, rook e2. Between rook a2 and rook b1, I was kind of conflicted. But I kind of just wanted to protect my b2 pawn and then just prepare my knight to go into e2. And king h7, knight e2, bishop c5. And here I have some problems, to be honest. b4 wasn't even a move I considered, but that's really strong, actually. Yeah, this is really good, actually. Okay, maybe it's overestimating, but... Okay, 8. Yeah, I mean, it's not winning or anything, I think, but it's quite pleasant. I didn't even consider b4. Knight g3 here, and then rook f3. I thought that if I played a move like rook c1, bishop e3 to f4 is very annoying. Like rook c3, bishop f4. I can move away with king g1, but I thought that I already moved my king, so if I move it away, it's kind of like a loss of time. So, yeah, maybe that's a false assessment. f3, c6. I thought c6 was a slight inaccuracy. Like, there was no need to play c6. And rook b3, rook b8 should be okay. But taking here... Oops, that's okay, that's not good. Taking here, I thought that there was maybe chance bishop b5. Because if I take here, then there's going to be bishop c4. But yeah, rook c3, bishop d4 still saves... Oops, bishop b4 still saves the position, I think. Yeah, okay, I'm going to win a pawn, I guess, but it's going to be equal at the very end because of the bishop pair. Bishop e5. Yeah, this is not very pleasant. So there are many chances there to equalize, but this I think was not the best. Two, and then I played knight h1. Now, I thought that this was the strongest move, because if I take here, then there's gonna be rook d1, and there's always gonna be like a perpetual at the very least. And so I played rook c3, rook bishop f2, and here best was b3. Ah, yeah, of course, I didn't even consider that. Yeah, why didn't I consider b3? Unleashing an attack here. And if takes, that's a like great success for me. Everything's weak, and it's probably practically winning. Even though the computer says it's equal, but knight h1 here, and then this one, I thought I was just winning here, but rook e2. Wow. Yeah, I thought rook f4 was the most natural, but I didn't think that there was a difference between rook e2 and rook f4, which just attacks the pawn, but apparently there is. King f3, rook d2, takes, rook fd8. What's the deal here? Ah, wait, hold on a second. Yeah, I was thinking of rook a3 to cover this check. Obviously needed. And then now they can double up on the b file. On the second rank. So that's the difference. Wow, that's quite advanced actually. The rook needed to pressure this pawn while staying on the second rank, which first off pins this pawn, forcing like the rook having to move to like kind of stop a check. And also when the other rook comes in, it's going to be a double attack. So rook e2 would have just... Yeah, my opponent had 4 minutes, so they had to consider rook e2 instead. Yeah, and the game from here on was quite nice. And yeah, here I was thinking of the line b4. Takes, rook b6. But I think, yeah, this is probably a draw. But then I thought this was winning. Wait, for 1 second I thought this was winning. f7. And if king e6, there's g2. King d7, rook b... No, not rook b6. I think here. b7, king g6, king d8. And this is a draw. Yeah, okay, whatever. I mean, this one is king e7 also. Yeah, wow, okay, this one is even dangerous for me. Yeah, so I miscalculated there. For some reason I thought that after this, and then king g6, and takes here, I thought I was just infiltrating, but no, I also made a misjudgment there. So b3, yeah, b3 is just best. I thought the logical thing was that if I play b4 and they take here, they're gonna win my e4 pawn, my e pawn and my b pawn with 2 tempi, right? 1, 2. Meanwhile, if I play b3, then they're gonna have to play 1, 2, and then 3, meaning that b3 should be slightly better, at least. And it's correct. It's like just winning here apparently. And this just made my life a lot easier. f5 is a nice try, but ef5, yeah. And here I could have just promoted, but I was considering just rook b3, which would have been safer. I mean, this is winning, but I thought this, but no need to prolong the game. So I guess that's my analysis on these last couple of games. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it like brought some insight into what I was thinking throughout the game, and my misconceptions, because I made quite a bit of mistakes there. So hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.